I had a really interesting conversation the other day with a friend of mine who I've kind of rekindled friendship with after many years of post-high school life, if you know what I mean, which for an old fart like me means plus 20 years ago. Anyhow, he was sharing with me about someone he knows who has cancer, who had cancer, about 24, 25 years ago. And he said to me about how shocked he was that his friend has decided to start smoking cigarettes, or has never quit smoking cigarettes. And he, as a non-cancer survivor, was blown away by somebody who had cancer would actively choose to smoke cigarettes still. And he said when he asked this person about why they chose to start smoking cigarettes and why they continue to smoke cigarettes even though they've already experienced cancer once in their life, he said the answer was, because every time I light up a cigarette, it's like a great big FU to cancer. Now, to some of you watching today, that makes no sense. I don't get it. And then to some of you watching, like after the initial shock, you're kind of like, oh, I think I kind of get it. Here's where I'm coming from. Stay with me for a minute. I had cancer 24 years ago, 25 years ago. No, I don't smoke cigarettes. After my cancer, I packed on some weight. I know I look like I carry a temple straight from Tyson Beckford's genetic pool, but I don't. And I've always been told you got to lose weight, right, David? You know, if you remain overweight, then you're gonna get diabetes, heart attack, strokes, all the things that happen when you have too much weight. I've always heard the advice and never really paid attention to it. It's never really connected with me. But in the back of my head, one of the things I've also always said is, I already had cancer. Like, what's a little extra weight gonna do to me? And what's weird is, like, post-cancer, 16, 17 years later, the threat of other things is diluted by what I've already been through. So I'm curious if any of you can relate with that. Like, went through cancer already, and now things that present themselves as potential dangers or things that might make you want to not do something, or make a person who's never been affected by cancer not do something, to us sometimes feels like, well, I've already been through the worst. How bad is this other stuff gonna be? And I realize on the surface level, like, that's super selfish, right? That's not considering my wife or my family or my friends who would hopefully miss me when I'm gone, my YouTube community. So I realize this selfish, narcissistic viewpoint that is on life. But on the flip side, as the survivor, there truly is this feeling of like, well, I've already been through it. And so, like, how bad could these other things be? And heck, if a heart attack grabbed me and took me to heaven, is that really all that much worse than what I've already been through? And so, I don't know, just kind of a thought on my mind today about people who've been through cancer who still make negative life choices. Maybe one of the reasons why is simply because we feel like we've been through it, right? We've run the race already, and some of us feel really lucky to even be here still. And I realize there's other people who never think about their cancer ever again. But as I've said a million times, that's definitely not me, because I think about survivorship and how to navigate life post-cancer, even though it still has a thread in my life, pretty consistently throughout the week. So I'm curious, any of you watching, if you ever thought this way or thought about your habits in that light, or if you think I'm just crazy and that this other lady's crazy too, and that we're just making stupid decisions because we're selfish. It's interesting. And if you're going through cancer right now or just survived it, I'm curious, am I alone in this? Does anybody else kind of feel like, well, we went to battle, we survived that battle, so this other thing that you're threatening me with doesn't seem like that much of a threat considering what I've already survived. I don't know if any of you can relate, but I suspect a few of you can, so I just want to share it. I'd love to hear your comments on it, and subscribe if you care about being part of my community of people who talk about survivorship, entrepreneurship, and kind of moving forward in life with cancer having this little bit of thread running throughout it, because so many of us get through something and then never reflect back on it, and others of us only ever reflect back on it. And hopefully on this channel we talk about not only reflecting back on it, but then thinking about what's coming up ahead. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.